Have you ever thought about why some companies thrive while others only survive? Have you ever thought about why do some companies get massive traction in the marketplace and maybe they're not even as good as your company? Why does that happen? It's because often they have A players, the types of team members that perform at a really top-notch level that you have not seen yet. And the question is, how do you attract those A players to join your team, even if you don't have a big budget that you might perceive that they may desire? Well, I'm going to give you 3 very powerful principles that you can use in your business to start to attract A players. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to start to think about content creation. And the first step to doing that is the most powerful, because without doing this first step, the other 2 steps are not going to work. And inevitably, if you don't do this well, then in essence, you're just going to end up chasing your tail, constantly trying to hire new people, constantly getting rid of people that don't work, and constantly having a company that underperforms below its potential. So the first step that you need to do is you need to hire people from a company that already is doing the thing that you want to do. A company that is right now financially and in a business sense outperforming you. I remember one time, several years ago, probably about 9 years ago now, I was looking for a new team member to join our team. And one of the team members that was an A player in our team came from a company that actually was generating about £5 million per year. And I was constantly reading about this company in the newspapers and in articles and online, etc. I just see them everywhere. And I constantly thought to myself, this company is nowhere delivering at the standard that we're delivering, but they're outperforming us in terms of media, in terms of sales, in terms of revenue, etc. At that point, we were at about £1 million in revenue, my company, and they were at 5. And the gentleman that came over from their company that was at 5 million, he brought over so many skills, he brought over so many insights, so many ideas that we can plug and play into our company in order to help it grow. And essentially, he was a key pivotal player that helped us go from 1 million to 3 million. So the key thing that you've got to do, irrespective of what you do and your company ethos, your industry, etc., you have to hire someone from a company that has already done the thing that you want to do. It's kind of like, imagine you're a football manager, right? And hiring somebody as a center forward that has never played center forward in their life. You just wouldn't do that. Or, you play for a Premiership team and you're managing a Premiership team and you hire somebody from League 2 and you're like, yeah, playing the center forward role. It's just not gonna be effective. And essentially that's what most business owners do, because they want to be cheap. They want to save money. They want to save cost. But there are creative ways in which you must approach this that make this solution easier in a way that doesn't cost you tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of pounds, and definitely doesn't cost you the amount that you might think it might cost. So a couple of creative strategies, and one of the ways that you want to think about this, and that's going to help you to attract those types of team members, staff members into your company, is to create world-class content that attracts. You see, most business owners believe that content is simply to attract new customers, but they don't actually think about and concentrate on the fact that actually content attracts team members as well. So you've got to start to think about what are the differentiating factors that differentiate you as company A from all of the other companies that are in your field. What are the specialties? What are the nuances? Maybe you pay attention to values. Perhaps you do really intricate and deep high-level staff training. Maybe it's the fact that your onboarding process is really effective, or perhaps you just have really great relationships with your clients that possibly the other companies might not have. You've got to start to play on these areas a little bit so that you start to stand out in the marketplace as a key and pivotal employer. When I used to run my company JNC before selling it and retiring at age 34, when I ran that company, one of the things that we started to do before I sold it was we started to create YouTube videos, and we created a series called Passion for Learning. And I would interview many of my team members, many of my staff members. We had music teachers, art teachers, PE teachers, etc. in the company, and I would interview them, and that gave them a platform. And it also created a lot of eyeballs from a lot of other companies, like, oh, this person really takes his team members seriously. This person really has a good culture in the organization. And people would start to, when they would see our job boards, then they wouldn't just go, oh, I've never heard of this company before, because they had now seen us on YouTube for our content. They were able to make that association, and then we had more applications, and we had more high quality applications for the jobs that we were posting for. So start to create content, whether that's video content or you create blogs and articles around challenges in your industry and how your company solves those challenges. And then you can even start to have a DM strategy where you start actually sending it to the people of the other companies. Shh, that's a secret. Don't tell anybody. Just subscribe in quiet. So you can start to DM those people, like find the profile people on LinkedIn that work for other competitors in your industry, and then start to create world-class articles, videos, training programs, series, and then start pinging it out to them, start putting it into community groups on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and then it can really start to grow your brand awareness and your brand presence with what you do. That can start to really pull in those high caliber A players into your team. And the third thing is, once you start to bring those people in now and they start to get attracted to you, maybe you start to have some detailed conversations, you've got to do this bit. If you don't do this bit, here's what happens. The consequence is that they come on board potentially, they get through onboarding and they're like, yeah, tell you what, sidestep. Or they get to the interview and they're like, tell you what, not going to work. And you constantly face this barrier of, it's not working because you can't pay them what they desire to be paid, or because you can't negotiate a deal that is agreeable to both parties. So here's what you must do when you have A players. When you have B players and C players, you don't need to necessarily focus on this bit. You just tell them what to do. But when you have A players, people that are high level performers, you have to then dip into a world of co-creation. What does that mean? That means that they are the people that you collaborate with on what their contract looks like, what their remuneration looks like, what their bonuses packages looks like, all of that sort of stuff. Don't just tell them, hey, here's what it is. Hey, I've only got 80,000 for this role, or hey, I've only got 50,000 for this role. Like, that's just going to hit yourself on a dead end. So what we want to do is say, hey, listen, we've got 50,000 for this role, and I really want you to consider joining our team, because I know that you like our values, you like our culture, and I think you can really thrive here. And in some time to come, I really believe that you can be my number 2, or I really believe that you can be head of department, or I really believe that you can be head of operations, or I really believe that you can be chief operating officer, or whatever it might be. And then through that co-creation process, and I really believe that you can be that, but I want to co-create with you what that looks like. We've only got 50,000. That's what's in the bag right now. But what can we possibly do together in order to make this work? But why is that important? Because if you don't have necessarily the money, the capital that they're earning right now to just land it on them, or you don't have significantly more than what their original employer is paying them, then you have to look at alternative solutions and start to think about bringing in A players like a sales role, because it is, in essence, you are selling. I know people are like, oh, I don't like sales. Get used to it. If you are in business, my friends, you are in sales. And even if you're not in business, you're in business anyway, because you are the CEO of YOU. So you've got to find a way that works for both parties for you to co-create this solution. I remember one of the A players that we brought on, he ended up being my commercial director in my company, and he recognized us because of this, because of the content that we were creating. And he was like, hey, I really like the culture of your company. It's nothing like what it is over here. And in fact, I've been here for several years now, 8 years, and I'm kind of frustrated. We're stagnating a little bit. The culture's not as good as it used to be, and so on and so forth. So even if a company is massive, what you'll often find is that their culture may not be as cohesive as yours. They might not be as tight-knit in terms of the relationships between different team members, different departments, etc. So you've got to start to play on that and start to use these things as your advantage. Don't just think, oh, you're a massive company, I could never get their team members. Like, you've got to start to really pay attention to this stuff and pay attention to it on a high level. So he saw our content on LinkedIn, he saw our content on YouTube, he saw our content in other places, and he said to us, you know what, it's worth, I know that you don't have the salary that I expect right now, but it's certainly worth having a conversation. And here's the conversation that we had. I said, okay, cool, I'm being paid X. I think it was about, 70,000 or whatever. So I'm being paid 70,000 a year right now, plus bonuses. But I think we can create something together. I said, well, what can we co-create? And inevitably we ended up saying, look, if we pay you 40,000, and if we hit target next year to gain an extra million and you help us to achieve that, then you can get an additional 40,000. Okay, so it wasn't that exact, but it was something like that, which would then take him to 80,000, and he was like, cool, let's do it. Okay, so there are ways that you can mitigate your risk and that you can create a remarkable opportunity that is co-created with you and that other person, not in a, oh, I need you to do this type of way, but in a, hey, how can we make this work for each other type of way? And then you can mitigate your risk and really start to employ high-level A players that really perform at a peak level, that take your company beyond your wildest freaking dreams. Because you cannot do everything and you cannot be the bottleneck in your business forever. You've got to hire people that have done things that you haven't yet done, that can plug into your business, that can bring you clients from the previous company that they have worked for in the past, and they can be a massive asset to your business. So I hope you found that incredibly useful. If you like this video, go ahead, subscribe for more content. Check out the next piece of content that you'll see somewhere around this video, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. I'm Jazz Rose, you're world class, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Bye for now.